My cousin claimed she was terminally ill and crowdfunded thousands. Then I found her Instagram vacation photos. Her reaction when confronted was priceless. My cousin convinced everyone she was terminally ill, raising thousands through crowdfunding from generous people who genuinely believed she needed life-saving treatments. But one day, I stumbled across her secret Instagram account filled with vacation photos, luxury beaches, expensive hotels, and absolutely zero illness. When I confronted her, the way she reacted was something I never saw coming. Before we jump into today's video, I need your help. We've noticed the channel is losing some traction, and subscribing is one of the best ways you can support us. It's quick, free, and it helps us keep bringing you awesome content. Your support means the world. Let's keep this channel growing together. Thanks so much. Now let's start the video. Before everything unraveled, you need to know how it all started. My cousin, Hannah, had always been the adventurous type, vibrant, outgoing, always the center of attention. But last year, Hannah announced news that sent shockwaves through our family and her entire social circle. She gathered everyone together one afternoon, voice trembling, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I have stage 4 cancer," she revealed softly. The room went silent. Our family was shattered by her devastating announcement. Hannah explained that treatment would cost a fortune, more than her insurance could cover. She said she didn't know how she'd survive without help. Immediately, we rallied around her. Family members, friends, and even complete strangers jumped in to support. Within days, crowdfunding pages popped up, and money poured in from people desperate to help Hannah fight for her life. As the weeks passed, Hannah regularly updated everyone on her condition. Heartfelt posts appeared online, detailing her treatments, her struggles, and endless expressions of gratitude for the financial support she received. We felt proud of how bravely she was facing such terrifying circumstances. But despite the overwhelming sympathy and generosity, something always seemed a bit strange to me. Hannah always looked healthy, really healthy, for someone battling an aggressive illness. When asked about her treatment specifics, she grew vague, redirecting the conversation or abruptly changing the subject. One evening, scrolling mindlessly through Instagram, I noticed a recommended profile that instantly caught my attention. The username was different, but the profile picture was unmistakable. It was Hannah. Curious, I clicked into it, and my heart nearly stopped. There was Hannah, smiling brightly on a tropical beach, sipping cocktails, jet skiing, and staying in expensive resorts, living a luxury life, healthy, carefree, and without a single sign of illness. It felt like a slap in the face. My mind raced. Could this really be Hannah? How could she do something this cruel? I screenshot every photo, every caption. Anger surged through me, and I knew exactly what I had to do next. I called Hannah immediately, and the moment she picked up, I said firmly, "We need to talk, right now." Her reaction to being confronted was something I'd never forget. When Hannah arrived at my apartment, she looked visibly nervous, almost like she already knew why I'd called her. Without wasting any time, I showed her my phone, the screen full of her glamorous vacation photos from her secret Instagram account. "Hannah," I asked bluntly, struggling to keep my voice steady, "what exactly is this?" Her face paled instantly. For a brief second, she was speechless, caught completely off guard. But instead of apologizing or confessing, she quickly flipped to anger and defensiveness. "How did you find that? Have you been spying on me?" she snapped, trying desperately to seize control of the situation. "Spying? You told everyone you were dying, Hannah," I fired back incredulously. "Do you have any idea how many people you've deceived? How much money you've taken from those who genuinely believed they were saving your life?" She scoffed, looking away sharply. "You wouldn't understand," she muttered bitterly. "Then make me understand," I challenged her. "Explain to me how scamming family, friends, and complete strangers out of thousands of dollars is remotely okay." She folded her arms defensively, eyes filling with tears of anger, not remorse. "You think I planned all this? It started as a joke, a stupid, desperate idea after I lost my job. Suddenly people cared, money kept coming in. It spiraled, and I didn't know how to stop." "A joke?" I repeated, disbelief shaking my voice. "You lied about having terminal cancer as a joke?" She lowered her voice, barely audible. "I never meant to hurt anyone. It just got out of control. I wanted to feel important again." The room filled with tense silence as I processed her twisted justification. I felt sick with betrayal. Hannah had always been impulsive, but this was beyond comprehension. "You have to tell everyone the truth," I finally said quietly. "Refund every penny. You owe everyone honesty, especially your family." Panic flashed across her face, replaced instantly by stubborn defiance. "I can't. They'd never forgive me." Forgiveness is the least of your problems, I warned sharply. If you don't come clean, I will. Her eyes widened, fear finally breaking through her defenses. You wouldn't... Try me, I said coldly. What I didn't realize was that Hannah's desperation to hide the truth would push her to take drastic measures, turning our confrontation into something even more chaotic than I'd ever imagined. The next morning, I woke up to absolute chaos. Hannah, in a desperate attempt to control the narrative, had beaten me to the punch, but not with honesty. Instead, she'd posted a tearful, dramatic video online, claiming someone had hacked her social media accounts to sabotage her fight for life. She sobbed into the camera, accusing unnamed people of jealousy, hate, and cruelty. The post quickly went viral. Hundreds of comments flooded in, offering her sympathy and rage at the imagined hacker. My phone blew up with texts and calls from concerned family and friends, utterly confused and angry. I was livid. Hannah had doubled down on her lie, deceiving thousands more people and painting herself as a victim. But I knew the truth, and I had the receipts to prove it. I wrestled with what to do. Exposing her publicly would devastate my family, but allowing her deception to continue wasn't an option either. After hours of pacing, agonizing over the right choice, I finally decided the truth had to come out. I gathered all the screenshots, messages, and evidence I had, and carefully crafted a detailed, factual post revealing Hannah's lies. My finger hovered nervously over the post button, knowing that hitting it would change everything. But the truth mattered more than protecting Hannah's lie, and I pressed it without hesitation. The backlash was immediate and intense. Hannah's deception exploded into scandal overnight. Thousands of comments flooded in, shock, disbelief, and anger from people who donated money they couldn't afford to lose. My family was shattered, friends horrified, strangers outraged. Hannah disappeared from social media, refusing to answer anyone's calls. Her lies had finally collapsed, leaving her completely isolated. My parents called me, heartbroken, asking if I'd considered the damage this would cause. But even through their grief, they admitted the truth was necessary. Yet, just as I thought Hannah's story couldn't get any crazier, a news station reached out to me, asking for an exclusive interview. I hesitated, torn between exposing Hannah further or protecting my family from more public humiliation. But before I could make that decision, Hannah reappeared. This time, with a desperate plea that forced me into the toughest choice I'd ever faced late one evening, a frantic knocking at my door startled me. When I opened it, Hannah stood there, disheveled, exhausted, and clearly desperate. "Please," she whispered hoarsely, her voice shaking. "I have nowhere else to go. Just let me explain." Reluctantly, I let her in, cautious but curious. She sank onto my couch, shoulders hunched in defeat. For the first time, the Hannah sitting before me was completely stripped of the confident, charismatic persona she'd always worn. "Why did you come back?" I asked coldly, my guard still up. "After everything you've done, after everything you've put us through?" She looked down, hands trembling. "I came to ask you not to go public, not any more than you already have. A news station reached out, right? They contacted me too. If you do that interview, my life will be over." I shook my head, disbelief mixing with frustration. "Your life, Hannah? What about all those people who donated money they couldn't spare? You used their compassion against them. You owe them the truth." She burst into tears, genuine fear in her voice. "I know, I messed up. But if this story gets any bigger, I could face serious legal trouble. My career, my friendships, everything will disappear. I'm begging you, let me handle this privately. I'll refund the money, I'll apologize, I'll do whatever it takes." I stared at her, wrestling internally. Part of me wanted justice served, publicly, transparently, yet another part felt genuine pity for her desperation. Despite her betrayal, Hannah was still family, and turning her over to a media storm felt extreme. "If I agree," I finally said, voice firm, "you'll come clean completely. No more lies, no excuses. You'll return every penny, no matter how long it takes." "Yes," she nodded immediately, desperation in her eyes. "I swear, I'll do it. And therapy," I added firmly. "You clearly need help." She hesitated briefly, then nodded again. "Okay." I promise I sighed, unsure if I was making the right choice. "Then you have one chance, Hannah. One. If you betray our family again, you won't just lose the media battle. You'll lose all of us, permanently." "I understand," she whispered, grateful yet terrified. I had no idea if trusting Hannah again was the right decision. But as she left my apartment that night, promising a fresh start, a nagging feeling remained. That perhaps her biggest secret hadn't even come out yet. and soon enough, I'd find out just how right that feeling was. Just when I thought things couldn't possibly get worse, I received a call from a blocked number. The voice on the other end was hesitant, careful, but unmistakably serious. "I saw your posts online about Hannah," the caller said slowly. "I need you to know there's more to this. Hannah didn't come up with this scheme alone." My stomach dropped instantly. "Who is this? How do you know Hannah?" The caller hesitated again before replying. "My name is Alex. I'm Hannah's ex. We dated secretly for months. The fake illness. It wasn't just her idea. Someone else planned everything. Someone Hannah owes money to." "Who?" I demanded, fear and anger rising in equal measures. "A guy named Derek Brooks," Alex admitted reluctantly. "He's involved in some shady stuff. Gambling, loans, scams. Hannah borrowed money from him, got in deep, couldn't pay back. He gave her the idea of pretending to be sick. It spiraled out of control from there." I struggled to process this new twist. Hannah had lied, again. But this time, her deceit went beyond attention-seeking and greed. She'd become entangled in something genuinely dangerous. "How deep is she?" I asked sharply. "Is she in danger?" Alex sighed heavily. "Probably. Derek's not someone you cross. When your post went viral, Derek got angry, really angry. He's threatening Hannah. That's why she begged you not to talk to the media. She's terrified of him." I hung up, feeling sicker than ever. Hannah's lie wasn't just irresponsible. It had placed her, and our entire family, at risk. But why hadn't she told me the truth when she had the chance? Unable to ignore this dangerous reality, I called Hannah immediately. When she answered, I got straight to the point. "Why didn't you tell me about Derek Brooks?" She was silent for a long moment, her voice finally trembling as she spoke. "I was ashamed, terrified. Derek said he'd hurt me, or worse, if anyone found out. I didn't want you involved." "It's a bit late for that," I snapped, panic surging. "You need to report him to the authorities, now." "I can't," Hannah whispered, fear evident. "He'll come after me." "Then I will," I said firmly, making a choice without hesitation. "This ends now." But just as I decided to confront Derek and put an end to this nightmare, another chilling message appeared on my phone, this time from an unknown number, making it clear Derek was already watching me closely. "If you know what's good for you, you'll stay out of Hannah's business, or else." Suddenly, the consequences of Hannah's lie had become very, very real. My heart pounded in my chest as I stared at Derek's chilling message. I'd unintentionally stepped into something far darker than a family scandal. Now, my safety was at risk. I debated calling the police immediately, but panic clouded my judgment. If Derek was as dangerous as Hannah and Alex claimed, involving authorities without a solid plan might escalate things dangerously. Instead, I decided to confront Hannah directly once again. When we met privately later that evening, she was visibly shaken, eyes darting nervously around the room. "He messaged you, didn't he?" she whispered fearfully. I nodded grimly. "Hannah, you need to tell me everything, now. How much money did you borrow from Derek? What exactly does he want?" She took a shaky breath, tears forming again. "I borrowed nearly $20,000. At first, he acted like a friend, lending me money easily. But when I couldn't pay him back, he completely changed. He threatened to hurt me or expose everything unless I went along with his scheme. He took a large chunk of the crowd-funded money, but then he demanded more." "You've been paying him this whole time?" I asked, horrified. "Yes," she admitted, shamefully looking away. "But when your posts exposed everything, donations stopped, and Derek blames me for losing his cash flow. He's furious." Frustration, anger, and fear surged through me simultaneously. "You should have told me this sooner, Hannah. You've endangered yourself, and now me and our entire family. We have to go to the police, immediately." Hannah looked terrified, but nodded slowly. "You're right. I should have been honest from the start." We immediately went to the authorities, handing over all the evidence, text messages, threats, financial transactions, everything we had. Detectives listened carefully, taking our statements seriously. They assured us they'd act swiftly to ensure our safety and apprehend Derek. Yet, as Hannah and I left the police station, relief mixed with lingering anxiety. Derek wasn't someone to underestimate, and I knew deep down the nightmare wasn't fully over. And my instincts were painfully accurate, because later that night, I received another chilling text, this one far more ominous. "Going to the cops was a bad idea. You'll regret crossing me." Suddenly, protecting Hannah had escalated into protecting my entire family and myself from a threat far greater than we'd ever imagined. After Derek's second threat, the fear became impossible to ignore. I double-checked the locks on my doors, kept my phone on me at all times, and started glancing over my shoulder everywhere I went. Hannah, meanwhile, was a wreck, barely sleeping, barely eating. She knew she'd dragged us into something dangerous, and the guilt was eating her alive. But there was a silver lining. The police were taking the situation seriously. A detective named Ruiz was assigned to our case and quickly put together a plan. Derek had a history of dodging justice. No paper trails, no fixed address, but now we had evidence and a motive. We need him to incriminate himself, Ruiz explained. You said he's still texting you. If we play this right, we can lure him into making a mistake. It felt like a movie plot. The plan? I'd keep communicating with Derek, under supervision, making it seem like Hannah and I were willing to negotiate. If we could get him to meet in person, the police would be ready. It felt risky as hell, but I agreed. We set up a fake meeting in a public park late afternoon. I messaged Derek, "We'll get you what you want. Let's meet and talk face to face. No more games." His response came quickly. "Fine. 1 hour. Don't bring anyone unless you want this to get worse." Ruiz and his team were already hidden when Hannah and I arrived at the park. My heart was pounding so loud I could barely hear myself think. We sat on a bench, pretending to be alone, eyes scanning for any sign of him. And then we saw him. Derek emerged from behind a tree line, wearing a hoodie pulled low over his face, moving with the kind of confidence only someone used to intimidation has. He approached cautiously, eyes darting around. "You actually showed," he muttered, glaring at Hannah. "Guess you're dumber than I thought." I kept my cool, replying, "We don't want trouble. We just want this over." He laughed bitterly. Too late for that. But before he could say anything else, officers closed in fast. One shouted, "Police! Hands where we can see them." And in seconds, Derek was tackled to the ground, handcuffed and yelling every curse in the book. It was over. He was caught. As they loaded him into the back of the squad car, Hannah broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. I sat beside her, numb with disbelief. We'd just walked through fire, and somehow made it out alive. But though Derek was behind bars, the consequences of Hannah's deception and the chaos it had unleashed weren't finished just yet. Now came the part that might be even harder. Owning everything publicly, and beginning the long uphill climb toward redemption. Derek's arrest made headlines almost immediately. News outlets had already been sniffing around the story after my original post exposing Hannah's scam. And now, with charges for fraud, extortion, and making threats, it blew up. Hannah's name was everywhere. Cousin CancerCon became the viral phrase people used to describe what she'd done. The internet was ruthless, and honestly, I didn't blame them. But here's the thing. Hannah didn't run this time. She didn't hide behind another lie or fake another illness. For the first time since the entire mess began, she stood up and took full responsibility. She publicly posted a long, emotional apology. No excuses, no blaming Derek. Just the truth. I lied, I hurt people, I manipulated the kindness of strangers and betrayed my own family. There's no apology big enough to fix what I've done, but I'm going to try, every single day, for the rest of my life. It didn't win everyone back. A lot of people were still angry, and understandably so, but some appreciated her honesty. A few donors even messaged her saying they forgave her and hoped she'd get help. She enrolled in therapy and started working part-time at a nonprofit, ironically, one that supports real cancer patients, not as some PR stunt, but because she said she needed to understand the full weight of the harm she caused. Our family is still healing. Some relatives have cut her off entirely. Others, like my parents and I, are cautiously rebuilding trust. She visits sometimes, always quietly, always humbly, always with a quiet apology behind her eyes. As for me, I still think about it all the time. How quickly someone I loved turned a lie into a monster. How close we came to real danger. And how important it was to speak up even when it meant ripping everything open. Because if I hadn't, Derek might still be walking free. Hannah might still be lying. And worse, someone else might have been next. This experience taught me something I never expected to learn so personally. Deception doesn't always come from strangers. It can come from the people you trust the most. And when someone lies on a scale this big, the damage doesn't just hit wallets. It hits relationships, reputations, and hearts. But it also taught me the value of truth, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Hannah's journey from lies to accountability hasn't been perfect, and it never will be. But seeing her finally take ownership, watching her do the slow, painful work of rebuilding from the mess she made, that's where redemption starts. Not in words, but in actions. If you're ever in a situation where someone you love is doing something wrong, really wrong, saying something might feel like betrayal, but staying silent, that's the real betrayal. Have you ever had to call out someone close to you, or dealt with a situation where someone manipulated others for sympathy or money? I'd love to hear your story in the comments below. And if this story hit home, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us keep sharing real, raw, and powerful stories just like this one. Thanks for watching, and take care of each other. See you in the next one.